In this video, we're going to review activity 1.3.6, iSection Nat, by showing a few things with section views within Autodesk Inventor 2025. I'm going to start off by making sure that we have a new active project, and we're going to go ahead and name this Sections. I'm going to go ahead and choose the Workspace folder, Documents, PLTW IED. We're going to make a new folder here. Make sure that's selected and say OK. Select Finish and select Done. So with sections though, so we'll have this ready to go for when we're getting ready to do our drawing, but one portion on the activity, specifically steps 7, 8, and 9, they want us to explore what it's like to utilize an active section view. So I'm actually going to go back to in this drop down menu and choose another active project, which was the CAD modeling skills. And I'm going to open up the screwdriver base from activity 1.3.4. And so one thing we can take a look at when we're working with any sort of models, so I go to the inspect or annotate actually tab, inspect had measure. With annotate, we have some different options in here, mainly under the manage panel. And if I look at 3D model, I can also right click and select, and notice how I can't really bring that panel in, so I really kind of look at that. I can also take a look at like the view panel as well. It's just probably going to be the best thing. You have like object visibility being shown there, as well as center of gravity and analysis. But here we have something called a half section view. And if I click the drop down, you can do a 3/4 section or just a quarter section. The half section is a full section. So I'm actually going to click on it, and it's going to ask me for, so on step 8, they want us to click on the top of the part. And here I can actually click and drag on this arrow to create. If I click the green check mark, I will have this section view that shows up there. So I can actually see what that looks like on the inside and everything as such. If I don't want to have that anymore, I click the drop down arrow on a half section view and say delete the section view to bring back my original model. So we'll go ahead and go back to half section. If I want to see, like on step 9, they want us to slice right through the center hole and right through the half of the part. So I'm actually going to go ahead and go over here to the origin folder, click the plus sign, and hover over. I can kind of see some visuals. I actually want this YZ plane, and if I click right on it, notice how it will allow me to click and cut right through it, and that way I can see right into the inside of this part. So again, go up here to the drop down, delete the section view, and I can always do some other things here, especially like if I want a quarter section, and let's say I want to utilize this work plane and be able to work with some of that. So again, flipping will, if I click this button to flip, flips which side's going. If I rotate it, I can actually rotate around which direction if I want it to go like a 45-degree angle or something like that. And that's going to be what we kind of see as we go along. So we can select continue or cancel. I'm going to cancel this and actually click the drop down and say, that we can kind of get rid of that. I can go and say right click and say OK. There we go. There's our quarter section view. 3/4 section. If I select my XY plane, we can always see kind of what that looks like and kind of work from there. So, but the active section view option allows you to be able to see some of those different things and to be able to see kind of just like what the section analysis looks like as you're kind of working through some of those items. As far as this goes, while we have time in this video, they want us to also take a look at steps 10 and 11, which is going to be revisiting a drawing from the CAD program. So I'm actually going to show you just in this workflow. I'm going to just close this file because I'm done using, I don't want to save the changes, so I'll say no. I'm going to change my active project over to instead of sections, I'm actually going to go into documenting the design, and I want to open up this drawing. So I'm going to open it up, And what they want us to do is to investigate how to create a section view to properly dimension this right side, because right now we're dimensioning the hidden lines, which is not a proper dimensioning technique. So I'm actually going to delete this right side view. It's asked, do we want to delete view 2? Say okay. So I selected and pressed delete on my keyboard. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a section view for this part. I'm going to go up here to the create panel. We're going to see that we're going to have create section view. And what it looks for says select a view or view sketch. So I'm going to select the front view. And now it says we're going to create a section line. So what we're going to do is like right above like this third one, here's like the little green dot that shows the midpoint. I'm just going to go up a little bit. I'm going to click and I'm going to draw right through this part. And when I get done, I'm going to right click and say continue. And that's going to give me a section view now that I can place right here onto my drawing. And notice how there's the cutting plane line that shows where it's cutting through. And if I need to change it, I can always, delete that view, redraw. If I need to lengthen or change any of those options, I can do that. But really now, I can properly dimension by going to annotate, choosing like the width here, and doing some of these options like so. So now I don't have as much of that kind of going on with some of those different items there. There we go. There's that 0.05. And I can get some of these different features that maybe I wasn't able to get before. So, and I can always reposition some dimensions. Right click on anything, change the precision, and be able to work with some of those things. So, just wanted to show you how to create that. Now, to make sure this goes to the active project, I don't want to override what I originally had. So I'm actually going to go up here to File, Save As, and instead of this file folder where I have activity 135, I'm actually going to click on PLTW IED, double click on to activity 136 and select Save. It says this is not the active project. Are you sure? Yes, I want to save that file there. And then I can go ahead and close it. And if I go here, so if I go to Documenting Design and go down to Sections, I'm going to see that there's my copy of that crank arm drawing with the updated section view. If I go back to Documenting a Design and open this one up, notice how the section view is not there here on the right side. And that's because that's what we did in the previous activity. So we should have this should now finish out activity 136. I section that for how to create section views within CAD models, but also on drawings for documentation purposes.